In the last episode, I tracked the bandits to their hidden camp, deep in the desert. Under the cover of night, I went in alone, wounded, outnumbered, and with no room for error, I moved through the shadows, taking them down one by one. Every step was a risk. Every sound could have been my last. More than once, I thought it was over, but I kept fighting, silent, relentless, and unseen. And somehow, I survived the night. Now, the camp is still standing, and the mission is not over. I am Wusur of the clan Banu Yatash, and this is episode 4. Then, the Sea Raider leader stepped forward. His voice cut through the chaos, cold, defiant. For a brief moment, it seemed like he might surrender, but I saw it in his eyes. He would not yield. There would be no mercy, no surrender, only steel. He raised his weapon, and the fight began. And my companions fought like beasts with fury and steel. Blades clashed, men shouted, and the camp erupted into chaos. In the middle of it all, something felt wrong. I couldn't help but notice. There were no slaves, no captives, no sign of prisoners anywhere in the camp. And then, a thought crossed my mind. This had to be the place. Somewhere here, hidden in the shadows, or locked away from sight, was the daughter of Thaqir. Among the dead, we found a note, crumpled, stained, but still readable. It was a record, a list of slaves that had been sold. My eyes scanned the names, line by line, and then I saw it. The last of them had been taken to Zeonica, a city across the sea ruled by the Western Empire. So we had been too late. The girl was no longer here, but now we had a new trail to follow. The Sea Raiders had left behind plenty food and coin, enough to keep us moving forward. And on the shore, as if fate had willed it, there was a small ship. I looked at my companions, then back at the waves. "We sail," I said quietly, and without hesitation, we took the ship and set our course across the sea. We set sail, and before long, the sea turned against us. Furious waves rose from the depths, crashing against the hull, as the wind howled like a beast unleashed. The ship groaned beneath our feet, each threatening to tear it apart. Water swept across the deck, and the sky above us burned with storm and darkness. We fought to hold our course, gripping ropes and wood with all our strength. The sea was testing us, and it would not be an easy journey. Then, through the storm, we saw it. A Corsair ship, cutting through the waves, fast, and closing in. Pirates, even in the middle of the raging sea. They had found us. Their sails were dark against the sky, their crew already shouting, preparing for battle. There was no escape, not in this storm. I drew my blade, steadying myself as the ship lurched beneath my feet. "Prepare yourselves," I called out. The waves crashed, the ships drew closer, and we had no choice. We had to fight. We were exhausted, our bodies worn, our hands raw from rope and steel, but we had to keep going. The sea did not care for our weakness, and neither did our enemies. Ahead of us, far beyond the horizon, lay Zeonica. The journey would be long, and there was no turning back now. We continued sailing through the night. The sea was relentless, waves crashing against us. The wind never rested. Every moment felt like a struggle, every breath earned. But fortune was with us, at least for a time. Among the pirates we defeated, we found prisoners, men who had once sailed these waters. We freed them, and some chose to join us. They knew the sea, knew how to handle the ship even in these violent waters. With their help, we kept moving forward, cutting through the darkness, toward our destination. The next morning, I gathered what gear we had taken from the pirates, handing it out to the men. Blades were passed around, armor adjusted, and we prepared in silence. We sharpened our swords, the sound of steel against stone cutting through the calm after the storm. Ahead of us, only a few hours away, lay Zeonica. Whatever waited for us there, we would be ready. I took out the letter we had found, reading it once more, carefully. Names, numbers, and buyers, and one name stood out above the rest. The man who had bought the most slaves, the arena master. My jaw tightened. If anyone knew where Thaqir's daughter was, it would be him, with one goal in mind: find the arena master. The port of Zeonica, busy, alive, filled with traders shouting, workers hauling cargo, and smugglers moving quietly through the crowd. After days at sea, it almost felt unreal, but I had no time to admire it. We spread out across the port, each of us moving through the crowded streets of Zeonica, asking questions, listening carefully. Traders, dockworkers, even a few shady figures in the alleys, all of them knew something. The arena, one of them muttered, near the center of the city. It didn't take long before the answers began to point in the same direction. The arena master was not a hidden man. He ruled the sands where men fought and died for coin. I looked toward the heart of the city, then back at my companions as they returned. "We know where to go," I said quietly, and without wasting another moment, we made our way toward the arena. The arena was massive. High stone walls rose above us, guarded, unwelcoming. As we stepped closer, the noise hit us, a roar of voices, thousands shouting, cheering, demanding blood. Inside, a tournament was underway. Steel clashed against steel, fighters circling, striking, falling. The crowd erupted with every blow, every drop of blood spilled in the sand. It was brutal, savage, unforgiving, and somewhere within this place was the man we were looking for. At the balcony stood a small, shady man, dressed in fine clothes, yet something about him felt wrong. He watched the arena below, but then his eyes shifted to me. For a moment, we locked gazes, the noise of the arena fading into nothing. It was as if he already knew why I was here. A chill ran through me. This was no coincidence. I tightened my grip on my sword and knew I had found the arena master. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.